It's a lovely evening and welcome to the ICU TV's main news desk. Today is Sunday, the very first day of the third month of the year 2026. Here are the stories making headlines tonight. Zambian boy killed in Canada to be buried in Kitwe. IBA urges broadcasters to strengthen child protection. Heavy rains cut off Chingola Chililabombwe Road at Kakoso Bridge. And of course, in our international news, Iran begins 40 days of mourning after killing of a supreme leader. In sports news, Mukoloma wins a women's race at Kazungula Bridge marathons. I'll be back with the details after this. Bringing the latest news stories in Zambia and beyond on ICU TV is Mishe Kinjakwa Edgarza. The body of the 12-year-old Ebo Mwansa Jr., a Zambian boy killed in mass shooting in Canada, has been repatriated to Zambia. He was among the victims of the shooting at the Tumbler Bridge Secondary School in British Columbia earlier last month. His remains have since arrived in the country and the burial arrangements are underway, and he is expected to be laid to rest tomorrow in Kitwe on the Copper Belt. The incident has left both the Zambian and the Canadian communities in mourning as family, friends, and classmates continue to grieve the loss. The Independent Broadcasting Authority, IBA, has called on broadcasting stations across the country to strengthen measures that protect children from harmful content as the world marks the 2026 International Children's Day of Broadcasting. This year's commemoration is held under the theme Safeguarding the Children in Media and Beyond. The authority says broadcasters have both a legal and a moral duty to ensure that content aired on radio and television does not harm the physical, mental, or moral development of minors. The IBA has further encouraged broadcasters to mark the ICBD by producing quality child-friendly programs and allowing children to actively participate in content that promotes their safety and well-being. The Director General Webster Malido reaffirmed the authority's commitment to working with stakeholders to promote a safe and responsible broadcasting environment for children.
We at the Independent Broadcasting Authority are calling on broadcast stations across the country to strengthen measures that safeguard children from harmful content as the world commemorates this year's International Children's Day of Broadcasting, which falls today on the 1st of March 2026. This year's commemoration is being held under the theme Safeguarding Children in Media and Beyond. a call that directly aligns with the IBA's mandate of ensuring that content aired on radio and television protects the integrity, welfare, and development of minors. We at IBA would like to emphasize that broadcasters have a legal and moral obligation to ensure that programming does not expose children to material that may harm their physical, mental, or moral development. In line with our mandates around program standards, we would like to remind broadcast stations as follows, that they ensure that they protect the integrity of minors by clearly classifying and distributing programs that could endanger a child's development in a manner that minimizes the possibility of access by children. We urge stations that they avoid broadcast contents that has the potential to corrupt the minds of minors and children. We encourage stations to particularly pay attention to the privacy and dignity of children in their news and other programming. We urge stations to strictly observe watershed hours, which fall between 22 p.m. in the night and 05 a.m. in the morning. We encourage television programs especially that they are appropriately rated and classified to guide parents and guardians. As we commemorate this year's International Children's Day of Broadcasting, we urge stations to produce and air quality programming for children and allow them to actively participate in the process while at the same time addressing issues that promote their safety and well-being. As the country joins the global community in commemorating this year's International Children's Day of Broadcasting, the authority at IBA, we reaffirm our commitment to work collaboratively with stakeholders to create a safe, responsible, and child-friendly broadcast media environment. Safeguarding children not only requires compliance, but also a commitment to quality, age-appropriate programming that contributes positively to the growth of children.
Well, heavy rains have caused a section of the Chingola Chililabombwe road to be cut off at Kakoso bridge, about 15 kilometers from Chililabombwe. The disruption is due to culverts falling under excessive storm from rainwater, as we have had sustained rainfall. The affected stretch is part of the public-private partnership project implemented by Turbo Kachina. Emergency works are underway to create alternative routes to restore traffic flow, and motorists traveling to and from Kasumbalesa and Chingola, including Haulange truck operators, are advised to avoid the route temporarily to allow works to proceed, and authorities are expected to safe passage to be restored within 48 hours. Now, this story brings us to the very first set of commercials, and on the other side is more news. Stay with us.
Welcome to the Zambia Research and Development Center, an institution dedicated to national development through capacity building and community development. Established in 2007 by a group of professionals and lecturers, ZRDC has since become a hub of research and innovation in the country. Registered with the Ministry of Home Affairs under the Registrar of Societies, ZRDC pursues cutting-edge research to address pressing social and economic challenges. Get involved. ZRDC engages in activities that stimulate international collaboration, promote knowledge sharing, and make research expertise available to decision makers. Our mission at ZRDC is to foster innovation and capacity building for national development. We believe in addressing poverty and underdevelopment through institutional and capacity building, human empowerment, and gender participation. In our quest to foster innovation and capacity building for national development, ZRDC launched the ZRDC University Sponsorship for Capacity Building and Development Program to facilitate knowledge advancement among ZRDC researchers and those intending to join the research community. Qualified Zambian citizens can pursue education at credible universities in Zambia with guaranteed prospects of joining the ZRDC research community. ZRDC engages in industrial and technological research, covering research development and innovative investigations to drive dynamic industrial development at national and regional levels. Join us at the Zambia Research and Development Center as we continue to innovate, empower, and shape a brighter future for Zambia. ZRDC, fostering innovation and capacity building for national development.
Thank you so much for still staying tuned to ICU TV's main news with me, Mishek Njakwa Edgars. And on a sad story, a 43-year-old motorbiker has died after being struck by a tanker truck in a hit-and-run incident in Katete district, Eastern Province. The crash happened around 16 hours along Mozambique Road near Banjo Breweries. The victim, Kamandani Banda of Chionela village under Chief Kawanza, was riding a Lifan motorbike when the tanker truck collided with him while trying to overtake. He sustained severe head injuries and died on the spot, and the driver fled the scene after the impact. Now, a 45-year-old passenger, Aston Banda, suffered a cut on the forehead and a swollen left hand and neck pains and was admitted to St. Francis Mission Hospital. The body of the deceased has since been deposited in the hospital mortuary as police continue with the investigations. In other news, the fourth session of the Zambia-Tanzania Joint Permanent Commission of Defense and Security has concluded after reviewing the key security issues between the two countries. Now, the Commission highlighted concerns over the use of emerging technologies, including artificial intelligence, space assets, cybersecurity, and organized crimes in the region. Now, both countries agreed to strengthen cooperation through strategies to address security threats and ensure that all resolutions from the fourth session are implemented promptly. The Zambian government invited Tanzania to participate in the fifth session of the Commission, which will be held in Zambia in February 2027, with dates to be announced later. An international drug company has launched a $10 million expansion of its pharmaceutical plant in Kitwe. The project aims to increase production of essential medicines, including intravenous fluids and antibiotics, while creating up to 1,000 jobs. The expansion is expected to reduce Zambia's dependency on imported medicines and strengthen local healthcare resilience. The regulatory processes are underway with strong government support. Here's a report.
Central Province, where a $10 million pharmaceutical expansion in Kitwe is signaling renewed industrial activity right in Kitwe. Deputy Secretary to Cabinet in charge of Finance and Economic Development, Siazongo Siakalenge, in his recent tour of the plant, said strengthening domestic pharmaceutical production is both an economic and security priority. International drug company plant in Kitwe, which is implementing a three-phased expansion program aimed at increasing local medicine production and creating jobs for the people in Kitwe. The company currently employs about 250 workers and manufactures approximately 5 million units of intravenous fluids annually. Intravenous fluids are sterile liquids given directly into a patient's bloodstream through a drip. They are used to treat dehydration, deliver medicines, and stabilize patients during surgery or emergencies. Once the expansion is fully completed, the workforce is projected to rise to about 1,000 employees, with an additional 300 jobs expected once regulatory approval for antibiotics production line is concluded. Government imports between 80 and 95% of its pharmaceutical products, placing pressure on foreign exchange and exposing the country to global supply disruptions. The government says strengthening local manufacturing is critical to reducing this dependence and supporting currency stability. During the tour, Mr. Siakalenge assured management of government support and stated that his office will work closely with the Zambian Medicines Regulatory Authority to ensure that regulatory processes for the new product line are concluded within agreed timelines. He stresses the government's policy direction of supporting local producers in public procurement. International Drug Company has already produced its first pilot batch of antibiotics from its newly installed beta-lactam plant under the phase 2 of the expansion. Management says the $10 million investment has modernized production and quality control systems through installation of advanced equipment and the recruitment of specialized technical personnel. The company is targeting both the domestic market and export opportunities within the Southern African Development Community region. Government maintains that projects of this nature align with the broader objective of diversifying the economy, promoting industrialization and spreading development beyond Lusaka into provincial growth centers such as Kitwe.
You're still watching the ICU TV's main news. We take another set of commercials, and coming up is international and sports news. Stay with us.
The Information and Communications University is complementing government effort in promoting legal and safe mining for all Zambians. ICU is offering a short practical training course to artisanal and small-scale miners and those who intend to venture into mining. This training covers identification of rocks and minerals, mining operations and equipment, health and safety in mining, environmental protection, licensing and compliance. Qualifications: National Registration Card NRC. Apply now at www.icuzambia.net. For more information, contact the ICU School of Mines, Department of Artisanal and Small-Scale Mining at +260 763 302 596 or +260 973 263 492. For analysis of mineral samples, contact the ICU School of Mines Laboratory at +260 973 263 492 or +260 977 833 434.
Welcome back, and we continue with the international front. Iran has entered a 40-day mourning period following the death of the supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in attacks by the United States and Israel. Top security officials, as well as Khamenei's daughter, son-in-law, and grandson, were also killed in the strikes. Now, President Masoud Pezeshkian has condemned the attacks and declared 7 days of public holidays to accompany the mourning period. Now, the killings represent one of the most significant blows to Iran's leadership since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Now, the crowds have gathered in Tehran as people pay their last respects, with expected ceremonies to take place despite ongoing military strikes across the country. We are still in international news. At least 9 people were killed in Beit Shemesh, Israel, after missile strikes by Iran. Now, the attacks come as Iran and the US-Israel collision clash, with Iran reporting the death of a supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and top security officials. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps has targeted 27 bases, housing, and troops, and the Israeli military facilities in the new Tel Aviv. Explosions were also being heard in Qatar and the UAE, as well as US Donald Trump, has warned of retaliation with the force never seen before if Iran strikes again. The interim council, including President Masoud Pezeshkian, will oversee Iran until the new supreme leader is appointed. The state media reports that at least 201 people were killed across 24 provinces, with targets including the US-Israeli assets in multiple Middle East countries. This international story brings us to the other set of commercials, and coming up is sports news. Stay with me.
We are the dreamers reaching for the sky. At ICU, together we will rise. With knowledge and passion, we aim to achieve a future so bright, with more to believe. We're building
Are the best graduating students, masters in the School of Humanities.
will be denied. From Lusaka to the world, we stand tall and strong.
Hi, I'm Genea Moyo, and I am ICU.
We're rising high with education.
Welcome back, and as we end the news, let's first look at what is happening in the world of sports. Elizabeth Mukoloma of Kansanshi Athletics Club claimed victory in the women's category at the 2026 FNB Kazungula Bridge Marathon in Botswana. She completed the 42-kilometer race in 2 hours, 38 minutes, and 9 seconds. Elizabeth Daka of Green Eagles Athletics Club finished seventh with a time of 3 hours, 19 minutes, and 33 seconds. The Athletics Association praised the athletes' performance, highlighting the continued growth of Zambian athletics and the importance of supporting athletic development and international completion. This sports story brings us to the end of the news, but I've got headlines on the other side. Join me. As we end the news, here is a recap of the stories making headlines tonight. The Zambian boy killed in Canada to be buried in Kitwe. IBA urges broadcasters to strengthen child protection. And heavy rains cut off Chingola Chililabombwe Road at Kakoso Bridge. Well, in international news, Iran begins 40 days of mourning after the killing of their supreme leader. And finally, in sports news, Mukoloma wins women's race at Kazungula Bridge Marathon. Remember, as we begin the third month of 2026, remember to take it a day at a time. And on behalf of the entire ICU TV production crew, and on behalf of the man on the machine, Mr. Cloud Kasalu, I have been Mishek Njakwa Edgars. Do not forget, we'll be back on your screens tomorrow morning with yet another fresh episode of the ICU TV's breakfast show. From me, Mishek Njakwa Edgars, it is a good night. Enjoy the rest of the week and be productive.